Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Welcome again to our live seminar. This is our fourth one that we've done this week. Super excited to see you guys here again. See you guys filling in. So I'm just gonna give a couple minutes, let people hop in. And again, we're gonna do the same thing that we did yesterday. We'll let the chat steer the first conversations, see what any questions come up, and if I can answer them to the best of my abilities. We have a couple other topics that I'm going to be bringing up later. Some pretty exciting things. A little bit of updates on all dev fronts that we're working on, different products. Just the current features that are probably going to be noticed upcoming and updates to be pushed. Different features that we're exploring to implement. So I just want to talk about them with you guys, just to give you guys obviously like a hint in of where we're already going, the different things that are already caught our eye for different features that we're exploring to implement. And, maybe we'll get a couple more features from you guys and we can add those to the list of things that we could add to our IPFS based products, maybe our mobile wallets and our desktop downloads. So very exciting times, really cool updates coming. And I'm excited to talk about some of the features today with you guys. Hey, Tyler, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, these are for anyone and everyone. So, any topic that wants to be discussed, we can discuss it together. I mean, that's what this is about. How do you fight to play? Well, I read that backwards. How do you plan to fight illegal content? Can you deny access to third parties, freeze entire accounts, or can public data only be removed by the uploaders? So, the way how Yan DNA is being thought of to be produced for everyone, how you can interact with it right now in beta, is files are uploaded and can be chosen to be encrypted on your end. So, if it's encrypted on your end using your passwords, it's something that we don't have access to. And additional on top of that, the way IPFS space works, the content gets split up among all these different servers. So we wouldn't even know what server to even access to try and retrieve all the files to put together. And then on top of that, the encryption layer, if you decided to encrypt it. So when it comes to fighting illegal content, there's a couple of scripts that have been created. One in particular that I'm fond of by Microsoft. It's basically like a large database of all the current known illegal content hashes, not like the actual files and stuff, but like the hashes for those files. Any content that's actually already been like on the internet, it's legal, stuff like that. They have a database like that. It would be really cool if we can implement that into, in the future into these products so that any file that is uploaded that is quote unquote, been known to be illegal content, it's flagged and it's not allowed to upload. But those are obviously things that not all storage providers even come close to offering. So it's really like far off for us to start attempting to solve that. But the internet's one of those places, even Twitter, even Facebook, Instagram, you can't stop someone from making an account and posting something. It can very well get deleted very quickly. But if it gets out there, it's still, it's still posted. So you can't always stop something from actually occurring, but there are processes that we are obviously taking the approach to try and solve in our own methods so that if something were to be published or whatever, it can be removed. Another thing about that though is if something's put onto the network and it's encrypted, the only way someone's going to access that file is if you personally shared it to them and they obviously had access to it. So I mean, I obviously would not recommend anyone doing of any sorts because you're putting yourself at risk already just dabbling with that kind of content. But you know, it's not going to not be traceable to you. You still have your own access points to the Yan DNA, etc. So you have your IP, all that stuff. There's securities in line just for basic internet access to make sure that it's not just plastered everywhere of illegal content. I mean, that's how do you think the other, commonly used websites, they don't obviously have that problem all the time, but they also might have their own scripts involved to make sure that that stuff doesn't come up. So it's definitely a really good question, something to, pay attention to on anything, not just products that anyone's building, but just literally anything. Like you don't want to get involved with that stuff. Can the upcoming Yan airdrop be used to induce many new investors to buy PAC? It's not an airdrop. It might just be misunderstood, or maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. Yan is the first token. that's going to be added due to our token implementation layer for PAC protocol. So the way that Yan is being designed, it is a token, first of many, or could be of many, I should say, because this update to PAC protocol is going to eventually give anyone access to create their own supply, their own projects, whatever, running on PAC protocol's network of over 22,000 full nodes. Yan token, Yan, the signal call for it, it's not it's not just going to be the only one that ever exists. That's one of the exciting things about this update, is that we're able to do this with Yan token to show everyone like this is the first, and people that have master nodes, when they're being rewarded their reward for performing a service to the network, they'll also be receiving their allotted Yan at the time of the reward. So that's just the first token. That's how we're designing it to be paid out among the network users. But again, there will be other tokens that presumably get added to this network, either projects that the LLC endorses, or anyone that wants to run their own project on PAC protocol. It's one of those things that's going to be available. Obviously, more information is going to need to be expressed, and we need to educate each other on this, especially us from you guys, just to like how you can do these things. But a lot of it will be self-explanatory. A lot of it is going to be very clean in all the UIs of products that we build. That's kind of what we rely on the most. If you really think about it, it's the best education piece, to let people actually use something and build it to make it easy for them to do it so that they can learn while they're doing it. And I think that was a huge success with masternode deployments. We've had and do have many instruction manuals on how to set up a masternode, how to connect your VP, all this stuff. But it's much more easier, right, for people to now know that they know how to do it in a version that's much simpler. Don't always have to teach someone calculus when all they need to know is 2 + 2, and you still get the job done. It's just making it easier for everyone. So that's what we like to play into a lot of the things that we develop. Why they do take time is because we do not like just pushing cool features, but they're really difficult to explain for people to even use. That's one pet peeve I have in the crypto space, is there's a ton of different really cool things, but every time, at least for me, you go to start reading it, it never is reading to me like something simple in our everyday life that everyone knows how to do it, or at least what to do to at least get started. And crypto is very difficult sometimes for new people to get involved and realize, oh, there's all these benefits if I use it in the finance section, or data store. There's a lot, and it's a lot easier to understand if the product is built to be easy to use and easy to understand. That's always going to be a staple from us moving on out. Updates are been flowing. I don't know if you were aware of the last update that just got pushed this week, earlier in the week for PAC app. It was a tremendous update to just mainly better off the entire app and its interface, and just the connection issues that some people have been reporting. That's why we have those bug reports, because a lot of our development is going to include bug reports that we get, and along with the features that we want to update. So it's just good to have that feedback from people. And those updates do come as we push them. Earlier this week, there was an update to PAC app. So if you didn't see that, you might want to check yours and make sure that you're updated for a better experience. In regards to NFTs and the updates, like before I get to the NFT question, there's going to be more updates as we just keep going through this year. These first couple months of this quarter, it's going to be just expected, because we have so many products on the line, right? We have the DNA, where there's features that are being implemented, the ability to share, add friends, stuff like that. Those are all features that we've all already talked about, and it's in development work. And Yan is spending majority of his time on Yan DNA, and additional with all the other apps that he's been a huge part of. PAC app, with the different updates that are coming to PAC app, not just improvements, but additional features, such as possibly, we're exploring to implement different currencies inside of this app, so that you not only have to use PAC app, you can use other currencies. That's something that we're exploring to add actively. And additional on that, it allows us to start broadcasting these products not just specifically to PAC users, but to cryptocurrency in general. And it'll be nice to see our products flowing in and out of hands of people that are getting to see PAC, and understanding that these products are being developed by a team that has been connected with PAC protocol for a long time, and hopefully maybe that brings them to check out all the other cool things that are being built. But in the meantime, it's really good for us to like put our ease of use, products, the PAC tag system, instead of using lengthy addresses. It'd be really cool to start using that with other currencies as well, but inside the PAC app. It'd be really cool, in my opinion. So it's definitely something we've been exploring to implement. Updates are just going to come when they come. Uh, Nothing's prolonged like crazy long period off, but we're actively working on all these things. The last couple of days, we've talked about every single one that I just mentioned. And that's what we're a development company. So when we wake up to clock in the morning to work with each other, that's what we're doing, working every single day. So when these updates happen, you guys will be the first to know, maybe possibly on one of these videos. But I did mention that we have a process. I mentioned this, I believe, yesterday. We have a process of releasing news, just so that we stay internally organized. Be kind of difficult for me to say right now a bunch of updates, and then people go start pinging Yan or other members of the team, asking them questions about something that they didn't realize was told to the public because maybe they weren't here, different time zones, whatever. It's just not organized for us to do that, especially with our socials, our websites. We just want to make sure that when we do release updates, not only are they sound and clean and working great on the network, but we're organized and releasing it in the right way. So more people are aware of what's happening at the same time. In regards to NFTs, yes, Yan can store NFTs, but is there an intention of PAC having an NFT marketplace in-house? Do you think maybe going that direction could be an incentive for storing NFTs on PAC? Yes, I really do. um, it's the path. We're doing it the path that we believe is the right way. That's why we introduced IPFS first, to get people aware that IPFS technology exists, that you can use it to store your files, and yes, you can use it to store NFTs. So with that in mind, there's a lot of chains out there that can already do this, that can already mint NFTs on top of, and yeah, you could be storing that NFT information, data, etc., inside IPFS for a backup solution on your own accord. With PAC protocol, it's obviously something that we are pushing for. We talked about this the last couple of days as well. PAC protocol will be a network that you can mint NFTs on, and then it'll be your option if you want to backup solution that onto IPFS. Just like any solution, you'd have to do that on your own, but it's going to be available. So that's why we did it the way that we did, to show here's the IPFS solution for you to have a backup of your data. And then, we're moving towards the update for now you can do it on PAC protocol as well. You can do it on other chains. Kudos to that. No, we're not competing with that stuff per se, but we're making it available to be on this network as well. And I believe that's a really, really cool update to hit this kind of network, a network that has 22,000 nodes. You don't have the common scare of, okay, an NFT network that's only supported by 100 servers internally. So if they turn off, what happens to your NFT verification? The short answer is there is none now. So being able to be part of a network that has 22,000 nodes, and you're available to additionally carry over NFT verification data, et cetera, back it up in your IPFS solution. It's just a 1-2 punch for us. We feel it was perfect timing for us to start advocating towards that, bring a use case to this network that makes sense, that still relies on the people to make their own choices, to support a network or to not. That's why IPFS was not going to be included into the PAC protocol core updates. There's still going to be separate things to where you can support PAC protocol, the network, by hosting a master node on your own accord, using a product that we've delivered to make it easier for you. And on top of that server, you can dedicate as many resources as you feel you want to. There's obviously a minimum for PAC protocol, but if there's other use cases that, such as IPFS and the NDNA, or additional ones that come in the future, where you see the potential of this use case really being an advocate for maybe your everyday life, solving any problems that you might have or use it for, or just overall bring more usage to the PAC protocol network, everyone's going to have the option to install this stuff on top of their servers and to grow these use cases. They're all going to be based off your own choice, your own decisions, and like I said, we're all here in the best interest of PAC. So it makes sense for us to obviously work hand in hand with the community and those that host master nodes, and to offer them scalable solutions based off of their own, you know, contribution. Not sure if this has been asked and answered. See that PAC can be used as a wrapped asset in Flare Finance. What about those that have it staked in masternodes? See, that's actually a question I'm not going to be capable of answering because a lot of that is on Flare Finance. Like we're not involved in the wrap, aspect of it. The way we were involved, though, the supply that was wrapped was 100 million. So we had to send them 100 million pack for them to have that balance to do it. Other than that, though, we haven't really been like in tune with their like we don't in their daily things. When they're up with whatever they're running, we'll obviously get our communication like back ready to go. And if there's going to be ways where people can send in their own pack to Flare Finance to be wrapped additionally, I'm assuming that's probably going to be the case because in most wrap asset situations with a bridge, you can do that. But I'm not 100% certain on that. I don't know if it's just the supply that they've been granted from us, the 100 million, and that has been wrapped. But we'll see. We'll see together on that. But it is a really exciting opportunity for everyone that's included with the PAC network and Flare to be part of Flare Finance and their Y assets. So it's really cool. And it's also a way that we can push forward to become not just a Y asset, but an asset on the main Flare network as well. So it's just good opportunities stacking on top of each other, just keeps us in line with everything else. Can you explain who participates and who receives the rewards from the Superblocks? Is it the people group involved in the proposed project? Yeah, so this topic has been coming up a lot, or just at least people mentioning Superblocks again, which is encouraging because I guess there seems to have been a time period where, like at the very beginning of when PAC was launched as a masternode capable network, proposals were definitely not a myth or a secret to anyone in the community. The majority of proposals that were ever hitting the network were majority from inside the community. So the people that are involved in Superblocks, to answer your question, can literally be any person that has 100,000 PAC, which is the fee to send a proposal to the network. 100,000 PAC, a proposal that you feel is going to benefit PAC protocol. Obviously the masternode owners will see this proposal once it's sent to the network, and the quota to receive a yes submission is based on the masternodes to vote yes. 10% of them, 10% of the total amount of masternodes have to participate in any given proposal. So at 22,000 nodes, 10% of that is 2,200. So you need to have 2,200 masternodes either vote yes, no, abstain. The commands are in your command slots. So that's how it was done in the old days, in the first days, I should say, before Yandy and Yan Safe and all our great products have been out. But that's how that's voted on. Anyone with a master node can submit a vote to any proposal. 2,200 master nodes have to participate, and for it to be considered yes, obviously the vote needs to be a majority. So it's important to know those things. It's a decentralized voting mechanism. The Superblock has X amount of coins. I don't have the exact number in my head right now, so I'll just say X amount of coins. Every single block are submitted to the internal network Superblock, where proposals can be obviously submitted. And if approved, it is supposed to trigger on that block that the Superblock hits, which if someone in the chat can say the exact number, but I believe it's roughly 17,000 blocks. Every 17,000 blocks, a Superblock is ready to be approved or not. The proposals will be approved or not on that block. And that's also the block that it should be initializing the payments. The problem within the network right now over the past, last months, year, etc., with the proposal system is anyone can still propose. Like I said, 100,000 PAC, submit a document or a link giving a broader detail of what your proposal is, who you're representing, etc. It's pretty self-explanatory. If I put a proposal out as PAC Global Holdings LLC, everyone obviously would know who I'm representing and what we're representing. Our goals, etc., would be listed. But that goes for anyone in the community as well. So they would submit their proposal, their details, and the masternodes would vote. And in the event that they're approved on that Superblock, it'll literally tell you if you won your vote or not. your coins are supposed to be paid out, and they have not been. Fortunately, we haven't had to have an issue with any other proposal owners, unfortunately, not receiving their coins, because there actually haven't been any proposals being submitted to the network other than myself representing the LLC. But that's the whole method of how Superblocks work. The What's requested is requested for exactly what's put in the proposals, and the system is based off of a trustless system. So if you're voting yes to approve something, obviously you're going to want to make sure that whoever's receiving these coins, what are they for, and are they in the best interest of PAC protocol? Obviously, you can only voice your own opinion. One masternode equals one vote. So if you have multiple masternodes, obviously you have more votes. The more power to you. That can't be obviously changed, because one masternode equals one vote. It's the same thing. It's a full node. If you're providing the service 10 times, you obviously have a 10 times say in the network, because of what you're doing. You're supporting it. So as far as our proposals that I can speak of, the ones that I've had sent, approved, etc., fortunately didn't pay out. But with our masternode updates and the network updates that we pushed over the last couple of years, we would allocate those coins together to then send them out to the approved proposals addresses. That would go again for anyone. If there was other proposals that were approved, the same would occur, would be sent to their address at that time, the coins that they should have had. Once that's done, those coins are in their possession. It's in their private keys. It's in their possession. So for the LOC, I obviously expressed the coins that we have requested are to be put into masternodes. The amount of coins that we have received over the time, it's been publicly stated in multiple, here's an update, here's the expected features, this is what's included, blah, blah, blah. And on additional, you can't force an update on a network like PAC. You need to have majority consensus to update at the specific block height that the update is to go live. So there's many ways that, you can really put a big stamp on PAC being a decentralized network, not only just in the amount of nodes there are, but consensus agreement. This is not a network where things can just be pushed without consensus being met. So obviously the LOC, myself included, I've been here for a long time with PAC. Throughout the years, I have my own private acquisitions of PAC. I've done open on the market, just like anyone else has. And also with the Superblock and the amount of work and effort that myself and the LOC has put into advancing PAC protocol's products and the network itself, adding features, offering development time, software, etc., to just make this a really great network and a cool network to be part of, including what we're doing now, NFT support, all that. It takes time, it takes us effort, and it's obviously why we have a stake in the network as well. So we obviously appreciate the Masternode network support, and we feel that we're doing a pretty well job of showing that we can represent PAC protocol, not only on the network and the products that we can build, but in our business to business relations, which are overwhelmingly amazing over these past couple months. Just being able to talk to different businesses and offer solutions as a development company, not necessarily just PAC all the time, which I'm, not saying anything negative about that, but just it's really cool to see that we can now be recognized because of the things that PAC has grown into, and start offering B2B solutions with either IPFS technology or other avenues that we're exploring to add into the PAC network as well. So I'm expecting a fantastic year this year, just not only just the products that we can push out, but just the different things that you guys are going to be aware of with what we're getting involved in on the business side. Is PAC coin free from securities issues? Us as a company, PAC Global Holdings LLC, we have on our own accord reached out to a law firm that specializes in blockchain technology. I went through an super deep dive of all these crazy questions of like how to classify security. If you know about those certain tests that are used to basically judge whether or not a security is a security or not, we went through a rigorous thing of that. And on our own accord, our LLC, we haven't obtained a security opinion letter. That is for us to feel confident in working on this network and having legal representation that's obviously going to back up their statement and their opinion of this is not a security. So it's obviously important for us and a safety thing for us to obtain. But it is, you need to be like clear on this too. Legal security opinions and stuff like that, there are none of those that overweigh a court ruling. So, you know, us as a US based entity, we have got ourselves, legal representation, doing things the right way, have our own legal opinion letter that we have obtained for our own security. Um, but there's also the event of, certain court cases that are going on in the US that could very well change a lot of different things, including Bitcoin, Ripple, etc. So there's a lot of regulation issues, discussions, etc., that are still up in the air in cryptocurrency. But our usage of cryptocurrency is and has always been advertised as not connected to our LLC. It's not ownership of our LLC. It is a decentralized open source network that can be accessed by anyone, supported by anyone, acquired by anyone. So, from our legal standpoint and our own representation, we have our own opinion letter. But for anyone that has their own worry and wants to obtain an opinion letter of their own, they can do that. And that would be their own specific. It wouldn't mean it speaks for everyone. It would speak for themselves in the event that they needed to showcase that they have an opinion that was from a legal representation saying that this is not a security. So it would be good for you to have on your own. But that's why obviously us being responsible as a company is one of the first steps we made to do that as a uh, registered company here in the USA. Hmm. Buy pack with USD and pack app. Yeah, I mean that's one of those features I say that we're exploring tentatively to add, because what that does involve is third-party solutions, partnerships, accessing APIs and networks that are safe to do so. But it would also include, KYC verification, things like that, which some people just don't like. But it's also just, common sense, real world situation that if you need to access anything and you don't have a specific cryptocurrency, you shouldn't just be locked out. There should obviously be a way that you can purchase something with your credit card. So it's definitely something that we're exploring to add into not only Pack app, but data storage kind of products as well, to where you could access reserve amount of storage, pay for different services without being required to just use crypto all the time. But it would require third party services and just having all that stuff, those partnerships lined up. They do cost money because you're now paying a fee to access Visa Network. Um, and it's also a good way you can even look at it too when we get to that point. Using third party solutions like that, it could technically be used as a revenue stream for both sides. The partnership that you sign, like us, we would sign representing the product that we built. We would sign with them with their APIs and Visa Network app connection. They would probably have their fees on top of that. So there's just things to keep in mind. Obviously, there's better ways to transact using crypto if that's your choice, but it's also makes it a lot easier for new people to jump into an app if they can just use their credit card. Everyone's used to that, and it's real life ease of use kind of stuff. It definitely needs to be included. So it's one of those features we're exploring, and it's going to be continually explored until it actually eventually does end up in there. The purchase part of it is definitely going to be further off than other asset support. That's something that's actively being explored to implement into the Pack app. So I'm not going to give a specific date on that, just out of respect for Yan and the other developers that are part of this, because it's really hard for us to be working on multiple products at the same time and give exact dates. Just because one might actually end up getting done before that one, because if I'm working on something to make a breakthrough, it'd be kind of stupid for me to have to stop doing that just because we made a promise for this to be out at a certain time. It's just how we operate internally. So um, they will be announced. I don't want to give exact dates on that stuff because we don't have exact dates for these different projects. They're all being worked on at the exact same time, just different groups at different times. So um, it's going to be one of those that probably comes out this year. And I say this year, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're in the beginning." But I just got to be safe. It could be very easy, very soon. Could be within a month, and it could be 4 months from here. But it's one of those things that I 100% expect this year. In my opinion, not putting anyone on a hot seat or anything, but I do expect it to be within the first couple months of this first half of the year. But it's also one of those things too. I think if I didn't mention it, I'll just say it again. Yan DNA. We want to have people to have the availability to reserve storage, not just using Yan, but to grow your user base, you need to make it widely accessible. So not just Yan, um, because Yan initially obviously is going to be not secluded, but like what's this called? Um, like only the masternode owners are getting Yan at first, right? So that's only a small amount of people. It's actually good to do it that way because you're not going to overload um, just anything at once. It's just a lot easier to just ease things in. But Yan obviously is going to masternode owners first, and then we'll disperse however it disperse through exchange activity or transacting data on the platform when that's available. But we want to make it accessible for not just those that have Yan. So obviously we want to include PAC with that. We want to include different currencies and explore the opportunity of putting, credit card kind of style in there. Yeah, Tyler, we have actually 100%. One of the main ones that people may have just recognized some of the things that we've said in different AMAs or the different events that we've attended and why. Like we didn't just go to the events and like put our hands in our pocket. We had like professional made commercials to showcase data storage at these events. And the reason being is most of those, if not every event that we went to over the last year, was had a lot to do with the Hollywood space. So the reason for that. Our experience or some experience on our team has led us to like find the solutions that don't work anymore, such as like if you get a medical scan and you have to go somewhere else to get the operation, more often than not, you're being given a physical copy or like a CD or something that you have to physically carry to your next doctor's visit or at least get it to him. They don't send it, through the internet like that. It's just not safe, and I don't know all the laws in the medical world, but I would assume that's probably illegal of sending someone's files to something over public internet. But it's just not safe. That's why it's not done. The same thing in the Hollywood industry, like post production stuff before it hits, movie theater. They have to go to everyone involved in the movie to get a green stamp on it. You're taking a physical like terabyte hard drive across the freaking world if the production was in China or the production was anywhere. You literally have to take a physical hard drive to these locations. It's stupid. Like it makes no sense that there's not something to actually replace that by now. I don't know if that's just a combination of just doing the same thing and just being used to it, or the fact that every single one that we've had discussions with talking about this exact problem, they all agree that there's no solution for this. You can't upload file sizes of like 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte for these movies and get it there at a quick rate or in a secure enough way that exist. Like it just doesn't exist. Like it doesn't really make sense to be trusting the same things that we see consistently. Movie trailers leaked, full movies leaked, just things like that should not still be happening. Yet it happens more often as time goes on because their solutions have never gotten better. It's the same nonsense. So those are the conversations we've had B2B, being introduced to certain individuals, being able to talk to them face to face. Insane has blown my mind in some of the rooms I've been in. And it's just important for us as a business to keep down that path, keep introducing the things that we can do. And it's a lot of it's education. And that's why I mentioned earlier today is the best education is showing them something built and easy to use, not telling them how you can do it and what it's going to do and how the bells and whistles actually work in the background. Most people don't care about that, especially when it's just to provide a solution. They don't want to know the problem and every little thing in between. They just want the solution. So that's what we're trying to specialize in. Partnership with Gala Games. So yeah, we that was very early on. I guess early on in last year that we started our conversation with them. But it has a lot to do with our updates. We have to catch up on our side, like the different things that we spoke about, with IPFS, with NFT support coming to PAC protocol, being able to mint NFTs on here, being able to create your own token supply. There's a lot of ways we can work with Gala Games in that. A lot of different discussions that we just haven't had the time to dive into deeper, but the availability of different designers being able to create their own NFTs and tie them to in-game. Um, I mean, there's developers that I've known for a long time, people that work with me on PAC, that are super interested in this kind of atmosphere for NFT support inside games because it's very, very popular and it's really going to be a paving the way of how gaming is changing. I mean, there's actually large games doing that now, like Tom Clancy, um, and I think it was with Ubisoft that they did that. It was like one of the first where the items in the game were NFTs. I don't know. I haven't played the game. I was just reading the article. But anyways, there's a lot of ways that that can be correlated now with PAC Protocol having NFT support. So there's some really cool, really cool conversations that we're going to have with them when we catch up on our side. But that's one of the blessings that we did have from last year. We were able to be introduced like directly to a lot of different projects. So that's something that I value like a lot, even probably more so than just what happens from those partnerships, because we have a network now of individuals that we can express our ideas and, hey, we want to do this with you. We already got this partnership. So what do you think? Like, okay, then we got to have the business discussion because things take money. They don't just pop up out of thin air. We have to work together. Budgets have to be provided, and it has to be organized. So, that's just how we expect majority, if not all of our partnerships to move forward, is to collectively move together when we're both at that time to provide the service that we want to do. With Gala Games, hosting a node, with Flare hosting a node, Doge hosting a node, XRP hosting a node, we're at least capable of showing that we can maintain our connection to their network as a qualified validator or a full node, however they want to look at it. It just shows us that it shows that we can do the things that we talk about. And then on top of that, being able to tie those to our products. The more that we're able to do those things, maybe make it easy for nodes to be deployed for those different currencies that were just mentioned. Some networks, unfortunately, just by their design, I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately, I just don't personally agree with it. Some of them limit the amount of validators or full nodes that are actually on a network. So we we were I forget exactly who, and I probably shouldn't say exactly who. I probably shouldn't, but running a node for specific networks that have a cap, and we were as a verified validator. It's really cool to be recognized like that. So those are some ways that we partner as a company, as a development company, and we can drag those partnerships into PAC protocol per se by adding them to the products that are free to download anyways through PAC protocol. It grows the ecosystem, brings much more people into the atmosphere, and then also down the line with things like Gala Games. And if people have paid attention to the things that I'm personally interested in, the different events that we put on this last year, the network, the people that we're talking to directly, there's a reason why we do all those things, and the reason why they're all related, and why we're going data storage, why we've done tournaments in the past to promote video content creators, those that play games, etc., perform in tournaments. A lot of that stuff has a lot of correlation with what we're doing forward. It's all going to be a really cool ecosystem once that's all said and done, and everyone's going to see it grow. And it's happening in real time. I know that we can't always talk about everything, but it's happening in real time faster than we can probably get the message out to you guys. So you'll start seeing announcements not from us, but from the different people that we're involved with. Obviously from us too, but just mentioning, like, keep your eyes open for the different things that do come this year from all that we just talked about today. What happened to the previous David Gockstein decided to resign from PAC Global Holdings LLC for his own private reasons. Well, he posted a statement on that, so those were his reasons. But we as a company also posted a statement on that for when he when he decided to resign. So um, I know the question has also been asked, like, oh, new CEO, blah blah blah, or like, is there one going to be announced? Yes, there will be, but just tentatively, we're moving collectively as a board moving forward. I will fill in those shoes as the representative, as the CEO of our company until an announcement is made. But I've also mentioned on that our leadership has expanded and we've gained more people that just have not been made public yet. And that's just due to our own reasons. We're a private company, so we haven't announced everyone that is involved in the LLC now. That is new and amazing, and I'm super happy to have around. But that's just because of our own reasons on that. It's just not the right time. Probably maybe a mixture of both on that question. Idea of an NFT marketplace be added on top of Yan DNA or be a different app/product. Yan has had ideas, I believe, of making Yan DNA like a plugin. So I'm positive that it could very well just be a combination of both. It could be its own marketplace, all standalone, or it could just be a subset, piece of Yan DNA where you can just access the marketplace directly from there. But again, these are all features that we are exploring to implement, and when those things finally get solidified and how we're going to do them and present them, there's going to be not just announcement on it, but you'll probably have mock-up designs so that you guys see how it's going to work. And it'll be um, maybe another beta session where people can enjoy a marketplace type setting, but there's also other things down the line coming up. Um, that us as a development company being involved in different marketplaces potentially, or providing different services, bringing PAC protocol into those as well. That's why I keep saying the words us networking and growing our network and growing our leadership here. That has been the number one reason and the number one thing of why we're able to keep doing what we're doing. And now we're doing it at a big scale this year. So expect it. I'm just reading through trying to see if I missed anything that I didn't talk about. Hmm. Yes, I know all about taking the tape across to the other studio for your post production. What's the connection to Manny Pacquiao? I don't remember if it was exactly us reaching out to them or them reaching out to us, but it was Robin who led the charge in that. Head of PAC Agro, our sister company LLC that focuses on all our charity initiatives. So he would be the one best to answer that for you. You can message him on Discord. But the connection of that is obviously to get involved in different things that they are doing, and then the different events that we put on, like charity events, etc. Some that have like amazing video footage in South America, the places that Robin has gone to over in Europe and Africa, they've all been offered and included in these events. So it's again networking. I keep saying it, but networking with these other companies focusing on the same goals, different charities focusing on the same goals, it allows us to not only participate them in what we're doing, but we get to participate in what they're doing, or at least have the opportunity to, given if we have a budget to provide to a charity event at that given time. But it's just one way that we can obviously grow the brand of PAC, give give back to more people in different locations. And I think that's kind of cool that we're not just focused in one specific area, one specific charity drive. It's just really anything that's available to us, and we want to get involved. So the correlation with Manny Pacquiao could be really, really cool considering the name and all that stuff, and PAC protocol and all that. But we'll see if that goes anywhere past that. But just being involved in each other's charities, that's why that's a charity partnership right there. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that comment. New partnerships. Um, I can't talk about it, but it was a good day today. The way I talk about the things that we're doing and the, you know, different industries that we're targeting, I'm trying very, very hard not to say specifics, but I'm doing it on I'm doing it specifically. I'm doing it on purpose because I can't say everything if that makes sense. And I know that sucks, but it does suck. I know. I can't do anything about that. It's just how the world turns. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. I heard something about networks needed the help from proof of stake masternode networks. Hmm. I mean, yeah. I mean, in retrospect, if you think about, can PAC protocol be used as a scaling agent for other networks? Absolutely, because it already exists. Um, I mean, you can't spin around with your eyes closed and point in a random direction, and you're going to find another network that has 22,000 nodes already deployed. Okay, they're already deployed. They already exist. So how can that be used to grow a network that isn't that size yet? Just put that network on the same servers. I mean, obviously, that's not going to be something we can force, but if you introduce it in the right way and you make it easy for people to do it, I would assume on my own, I mean, for myself, if I'm supporting a network and I find out that, oh man, there's only like 500 or 200 nodes on this network, it's pretty small considering the amount of users probably or the amount of transactions that this is capable of. Doesn't matter. If I'm a supporter, I would already be supporting that network. So I'd be like, okay, it needs more nodes, just like Bitcoin needs nodes. People decide to run their own nodes. There is no incentive to do so. You're not making money, you're spending money to run a node, but you obviously have your direct insight to Bitcoin. People do it for their own reasons. And people also do it because it needs to be done for the network to exist. So if you really are wanting to support a decentralized network and you're like, screw all these other networks. I only like decentralized ones. It would obviously make sense if you were supporting the actual decentralized aspect of it. So if you have a network that already has 22,000 nodes, and one of the products that these users has makes it super easy for another network to grow just as fast. All it takes is someone to be willing and to click a button. Boom. There you go. Now you have nodes being popped up. Now, where's the correlation on why would people do that? Like, oh, I'm just going to do that for no reason. Like, I'm just going to spend. Well, maybe you will. I mean, not everything is always about needing to be paid to do something. You have to run a Bitcoin node. You're never paid to do that. So, but the correlation with our token layer in our system, I mentioned Yan token. It's our first token off, not offering, but the first token that's coming in the layer for PAC protocol. There will be more tokens that are created not just by us but the community making their own. Is there the potential for one-to-one matches for if you're performing a node on your master node for, let's just say, for example, Doge, you are receiving a reward that says something Doge and it can be one-to-one matched? Possibly, but that I can't perform that. I can't do all of that by ourselves. We would have to have legitimate partnerships with these companies that are going to provide um, uh, a balance to do that. There's other ways that we can obviously promote people to expand their networks on their own accord. But again, not everything is going to be based on, oh, you're going to always be rewarded to do something. You're always going to be paid to do something. There are some things in PAC that don't, like in networks, that they just don't, there aren't going to be a payout for doing. It's purely going to be, do you want to support this network? You're already being rewarded PAC protocol rewards for supporting a masternode. In the event that the prices of PAC were to change either up or down, that may suggest different resources that you could offer to your server, and may suggest different use cases that you can attach on top of it. It's all comes in the growth of it, and it all comes in, again, everything is choice based on this network. So the partnerships that we have, nothing is ever going to be forced one way or the other, but we will work together in providing solutions for them to scale like we have been able to scale, um, and make it easy to do so. Okay, we're at the 50-minute mark. So I just wanted to see if anyone else had anything else, any other questions, specific questions, ones that maybe you didn't get to ask the previous days and now you can because you're here today, or I know we're at a different time, so maybe catching some people that weren't able to catch it at the previous time. Hmm. Who do you see as PAC's competition and what sets PAC apart from them? Um, two answers to that, because we are actively, going after both sectors of industry. So the blockchain industry is obviously, one that we pay attention to. Competitors, I guess, on that side, PAC can be used in a lot of different ways. We do not advertise, for specific reasons, as money transfer, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Like, we don't ever talk like that. But then again, cryptocurrency is a cryptocurrency, regardless of what name or network is attached to that. So PAC, obviously has its many features that can be used, whether transferring monetary value or using it for inventory purposes. That's other products that we want to be building, using supply of cryptocurrency to be, verification of your um, inventory for, for whatever really needs. There's that way that PAC can be transferred, et cetera. But there's other things that PAC is obviously potentially pushing forward, ahead of a lot of the PACs. And that has to do with data storage. That has to do with growth of a network. Um, that those are two things that we won't have to be competing on later on, years later, when everyone else is starting to realize they should be doing that too. Their network should be expanding. It should be being supported, et cetera, because if those services are not going to be provided unless that happens. Um, Specific competitors, I don't like to have specific competitors. But I guess the closest one, in my opinion, and people may laugh about it, but in my opinion, my our closest competitor of where our potential is going and the services we can offer, is Google, in my book. If you look at all the different use cases and tools and everything that they offer now, it's the common internet. We are here to build the next generation internet and communication parts of that. So that's who I view as like our group of, like, the things that we're producing and who we're going to be eventually in the same rooms as them, explaining how our technology works and how they can get involved in it. That's who I think our competitors are. Those are, I know, large companies or large company to think of, but that's just how I've always viewed us, is we're building the next generational, network that's going to be used widespread. We think we're big now with 22,000 nodes. It can very easily expand a lot more. You never know. The technology of blockchain is changing, at a significant rate, always improving, things always getting better. There could be, you never know, there could be quorum systems that maybe we ourselves, are the complete inventors of, to where you need a larger network because these quorums are going to go faster. Possibly, you never know. Or it could be vice versa, where the network is already at the place where it needs to be to perform optimally. And the rest of the supply is towards maybe a secondary layer of the network that needs its own master node type, deployment. Two separate networks on the same one. Possibly, you never know. I'm just now talking about pure innovational thoughts that we've had to explore. But you know, we have a lot of cool things coming up in 2022. We got to catch up with the things that we have already on plate that everyone's expecting, that I'm expecting. It's not that, we're not working on them. It's just, it takes time. Takes time, takes budget. A lot of our team is decentrally located, so like we do have to rely on, talking to each other through chat rooms, et cetera, Zoom calls. We do meet up every once in a while when time permits, and we all have our own families and lives, etc. But all our focus is here. We have our full time here. Our leadership has grown here. That's why we're able to participate in the things that we have been participating in. Our network's awesome. It's just awesome. So, again, guys, I appreciate spending time with you guys here. It's 55-minute mark. Let's see. Any last questions? Can you talk about other crypto projects that support IPFS? Um, Other projects, I guess, that use IPFS, like Filecoin. Filecoin is a network that was created directly from the people that created IPFS software. So Filecoin is a cool one to look at. A lot of documentation just on how IPFS works. They obviously have a different system, um, reserving storage, providing storage. They have their own installations that you have to do to perform it. Um, I believe there's a lock mechanism that you have to lock your coins, kind of like a masternode lock, but in this case, it's like a legit lock, like a time lock. Like you have to actually leave it there for a set amount of time before you can take it out. That's what actually reserves the storage space there. I don't like that solution. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't like that one. It doesn't make sense to me to like have something locked forever and then you can't, or like an extended period of time. That was even brought up for masternodes. Like, oh, can we have masternodes that are locked for like 6 months and you get paid more? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like possibly, yeah, but it doesn't really make sense. Like to offer someone something to where they're gonna lock their coins and they can't do anything about it. I already can expect that being a problem. Like we'd be hearing so many things like, oh, I accidentally locked them. It's like, oh, too bad. Like, I just don't like that kind of system. A guy that claims can seize from the future. What? Oh, we got deleted. Yeah, I mean, I'm not obviously involved with that case. I'm not concerned whatsoever. I think the pure fact that it's dragging on is a benefit to Ripple. So we'll see how it ends. But I think everything's just going to end up how we expect it to. They're just dragging their feet because that's all they can before they fall in the mud. Okay. I think we're gonna call the stream here. The light's getting dark outside now, so I know it's probably blurry for you guys. I need to get a better webcam. I just didn't have everything set up when I decided to do these, so um, I don't plan to be having this crazy big old setup, but I will try to fix that camera for you guys so that it's a little easier for us to communicate with each other. So, all right, guys, you guys have a good rest of your night. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. We have our Discords that you guys can join. We're all pretty much active in there all the time. Telegram as well. You'll find us in there. I try to reply to most people that message there, but it is quite a bit. And sometimes it's just filled with a lot of questions that we're probably going to just be talking about here, anyways. So, don't think I'm ignoring you. I'll just probably see you here, and I do get to most people, but can't get to everyone. So again, have a good night, guys, and again, appreciate you guys here.